Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, got to fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
And we're coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that. God, I love that theme song so much. Hey, welcome to Grapsody. I hope you're having a holly jolly Christmas season so far. Because if you're not, let's get it there. Do what you can to get it there. I'm Will Washington, but I'm not alone here because there's also Mr. Philip Lindsey.
I've been excited all week looking at the calendar and on where this day landed. Because it's a special day. It is Hove Day, ladies and gentlemen. Because Sean Carter was born on December 4th. Weighing in at 10 pounds and 8 ounces.
And, you know what's funny is I could probably recite everything about the Black Album like word for word, and it's interesting. But let me introduce Reg first. Reg, you're also here.
Righteous Reg is in the building. It is Hove Day. You know, we just got to give it up to Jay-Z, one of the greatest rappers of all time. Billionaire Hovey did it all without a pen. Y'all knew that was coming. Had to remind y'all again. It's Jay-Z, man. Like, this guy is,
Come on, man.
I don't know how he did it. I'm a rapper that writes with a pen, and I'm like, how did he do that without a pen? That's insane.
You know what's funny, though, is thinking about the Black Album, like, it's weird in hindsight that that's, like, a concept album, because, like, the whole theme of the album, of course, is that it's his final album, but, like, there are plenty of rappers who have gone 3 years between albums, which is all he did. And
Nah, man, he had to take a summer off, give these other guys a chance, man.
yeah, and, like, you know, everybody was, like, at the time, for those who didn't, like, live through the period where the Black Album came out and like get to experience, you know, oh man, Jay-Z's retired, and everybody was giving him their props, and like there was that period where everybody was using Jay-Z samples because like at that point people thought for those 3 years, you know, we weren't gonna get another Jay-Z album, and then this man came out with Kingdom Come literally in 2006, 3 years after after the Black Album. But it's funny because I listened to the Black Album a lot, and that's one of those albums I know so well. And it's a classic, but it's a concept album now because like it is, what if Jay-Z retired? This is what it would sound like.
Jay-Z came back like Becky Lynch. He was like, look, I left and nobody did nothing with my spot while I was gone, and I'm back for it.
Becky Lynch. There's a lot going on with all of that. I mean, Becky made that point this week where she said that, she said 500 days as champion because she was like, consistently since WrestleMania 35, there has not been a day that I've been active that I haven't been champion. And I thought, damn, I can't believe that's true, but it is.
Flexing.
That's a flex. And hey, folks, with this being Grapsody, I got a couple of notes for you. First off, if you happen to be listening to this or watching it, you downloaded it on your podcast stream, or you happen to be watching it later on YouTube, I want to remind you that this is a show we do live every Saturday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. We can be found at youtube.com/Fightful. We are also, it also streams on like all of our social media platforms. You can even find it on Sean's Twitter. And I think it's really funny that that day, like, we had some of our best live viewership like ever 2 weeks ago when we talked about Swerve, which like that was a good episode, and lots of people stuck around, so I know it wasn't just this, but you saw it. Like, Sean shared it, but the title of the episode was More WWE Releases, and when Sean shares something called More WWE Releases, people freak out, right? Because like he's the guy who's going to break that information. WWE don't even post about releases anymore. So Sean, of course, shared an episode with the title "More WWE Releases," and all people saw was Sean Ross Sapp more WWE releases, and they're like, oh my God, who's gone now? And not that we're talking about.
A lot of the YouTube comments too were like, we were scared. We didn't know what Sean Ross Sapp was saying. We came to find out about more. I'm like, yo, you guys.
Yeah.
Clicked it and got 3 black guys. Sorry, guys.
Man, yeah. Not what they were expecting.
Sorry.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
What are these brothers talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, so they're talking about Hit Row, of course. Not surprising.
But you can find us so many different ways, but we want you to join us live. And the cool thing about joining us live is that this show is fully interactive. There's ways you can be a part of the show. We have our of course, you can send us a super chat. We also would really prefer that you go with Humper Chats, humperchats.com. You send us those. Basically, you're helping give more money to what we do because YouTube takes a bigger cut. So the super chats are cool. And if that's your preferred format, you can stick with the super chats. The Humper Chats, of course, like I said, work out a little bit better for us because of the fact that we get a bigger cut of that.
YouTube tripping, man. They be getting their dollars. They be getting their dollars. I tell you that.
And we got a Humper Chat from Jay Shell a little bit ago, actually. It was half an hour ago. She said, sadly, I'm unable to watch live today. Still wanted to say hi. Can't wait to have you on Fantasy Booking Friday. Phil, you were so amazing.
Hey, shout out to Jay Shell.
Yeah. I can't wait to do it. I'm excited. And then there's a couple more. And then she also said, sending all my love to Big Swole. Her leaving hit me way harder than I expected. She's so amazing. I love her to death. She was so sweet when she read my piece on her. And I am extremely fascinated as to what that's to what the future holds for Big Swole, and we'll be talking about her in just a little bit. Ryan sent us a super chat. The people are demanding that Reg wear a cowboy costume if Hangman wins.
Ryan,
that's a topic here tonight too.
Alone.
No, don't leave Reg alone because Reg brought this on himself. Hey, Eloquent said, what it do, fellas? Unpopular opinion. I like Kingdom Come more than Black Album. Ooh, that's a really unpopular opinion.
Smoking hot take, brother. Smoking hot take.
You know what? Had he said
today.
If he had said American Gangster, I would have said, okay, I can see that. Kingdom Come?
Come, I don't know. The not strong tracks on Kingdom Come are really not strong for me. That's how I feel pretty much.
I do think Kingdom Come is underrated. I do think people hated on it kind of hard because there were such high expectations. But that intro is still that intro, man.
The intro's fire.
Intro is really good. I think what it was honestly, I think Show Me What You Got was kind of a weak single. And I think that, like, especially...
People were expecting a little bit more off of that.
Well, yeah, because Black Album had, 99 Problems was the single off the Black Album. And so I think a lot of people... just looking from the outside in, if you haven't even heard the album, but you know the strength of the singles off of the Black Album versus like Kingdom Come, Show Me What You Got came out, and it was like, is this any good?
Which I like Show Me What You Got, but I
Me too.
Get it, I guess. I don't know.
And we also got, I am going to butcher that, and I'm sorry. So if you want to send me the pronunciation, that'd be great.
Is it Maj Hates All? Is that
duh. Maj Hates All, of course. Yeah. I'm like, Maj Hat Soul? But no, it's Maj Hates All. Duh.
He's trying to do a Top Dollar diss right now, it sounds like.
Yeah, he says, Reg, I once again so sorry for the Blue Chew screenshot. I did not know the chaos that would follow. Look, man, if you host with Sean, you're likely going to end up with the Bluetooth screen or Blue Chew screenshot.
Will has one too. Yep.
Yeah, I do. And you know what? Shout out to Blue Chew.
Definitely.
I
was real.
They're one of the. Hey, they're one of the.
Slang them dick pills over here. We got you. I'm telling you, come through with the dick pills. We will talk about them. Don't worry about it.
Yep. And what else we got going on here? We got a couple more Humper Chats. Let's see. We got Happy Hove Day, but also R.I.P. Brother Fred Hampton. 12/4/69 was indeed a grand opening, grand closing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of, while we're getting that out the piece, rest in peace to Virgil. That was crazy news out of nowhere.
Virgil, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Our condolences to his friends and families.
That was crazy news. Although we have to, of course, clarify because you say R.I.P. Virgil to wrestling fans, and they'll immediately freak out.
They get freaked out. They probably were.
We may have Virgil Abloh.
Abloh, not the
on
wrestler.
Twitter,
sorry.
like, oh my God, R.I.P. Virgil. What happened to Virgil? But,
and I saw that because a lot of wrestling people were tweeting about Virgil, and it was like, no,
Big Money Virg is still at Olive Garden.
Money Virg,
Big Money Virg. He is still out here getting his money. Don't worry, he still will charge you $20 for a picture when you're not trying to even talk to him. He was somehow trick you into buying a picture of him, Bret Hart, the British Bulldog, and Roddy Piper. But he's like, I'm like, those guys aren't even here. I don't want this picture for you. I want the picture for them. But you will pay $20 if you see Virgil, so run away. Word of advice.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on. Speaking of which, I want to start off with what's going on this weekend because this is kind of a busy weekend, right? I feel like there's a lot happening in wrestling, just in our lives. Reg, you got an event going on tonight that folks should check out. Let's start with that.
Yeah. Tonight I'm rapping live stream. Tonight I'm going to be in San Francisco, but for you, it's going to be a live stream. It's going to be on twitch.tv/ComplexSF. It's going to be me and another rapper named That Fool Al. I got some raps, man. I haven't rapped in a while. I rapped a few weeks ago, maybe. But this is going to be dope. It's for all of you, pretty much. It's a video live all for y'all, pretty much. So please tune in. It's going to be dope. I promise.
Yeah, I feel like rap is infiltrating wrestling, and I mean, all the way to the point, like watching Kenny Omega challenge Lupe to Street Fighter was like, what?
I didn't know this was possible. I didn't know that these two worlds were going to interact, but here we are.
It's like three worlds, really, though, because like if you're into the fighting game community and you're into like Street Fighter or whatnot, it was already crazy enough when wrestling infiltrated that world. When Lupe Fiasco came into he kind of hinted at it, in Gold Watch, he like literally says, I like Street Fighter 2. I just really hate Zangief. Only Ken and Ryu, I find it hard to beat Blanca. But on the other hand, once like Kenny started getting involved with the fighting game community and the New Day and all of that, and suddenly it was just like, what the hell? And I'm a really big Street Fighter fan. I'm a really big fighting game guy in general. I don't know if people could see this, but that is an arcade behind me that I got last Christmas, and that's a Mortal Kombat display. You can see Johnny Cage there. But usually I'm like playing Street Fighter on it a lot. I play a lot of Street Fighter, I didn't get too much into Mortal Kombat 11, but I did like 10, and I'm glad that 9 is backwards compatible now, so that's really cool. But yeah, I'm a really big fighting game guy, and so when these worlds like started to converge, it's like, what the hell is going on here? And like now it doesn't even feel like odd, but
no, it doesn't.
It is still crazy that Kenny Omega is out here calling out Lupe Fiasco, who's probably a collective favorite here on Grapsody, and then
most definitely.
So we
two of our homies are gonna beef over Street Fighter. It's great.
Yeah, they're beefing over Street Fighter, right? I mean, because Lupe got that win a couple years ago that pretty much like set the fighting game world on fire because the idea behind it, everybody going in was like, oh man, we got a celebrity coming in playing Street Fighter, whatever. This ain't gonna be a big deal, and then he won.
I think Lupe is actually the rapper Street Fighter dude. I've seen other rappers challenge him on Twitter, like, let's get that smoke, but I don't think they want that smoke. Not with Lupe, man. He's a different breed.
Lupe
he be out there with the sword for real, man. He don't play. Lupe is a real life martial artist.
I was like, is Lupe actually getting in the ring? He get in there with the gi and like.
I mean, come on, bro, come on.
And honestly, and let us know with your super chats. Let us know who's your Street Fighter guy if you're a Street Fighter person. I actually am a Blanca guy, and I wasn't for the longest time. And then all of a sudden, I think probably when I was a teenager, I was just trying something different. It was when Capcom vs. SNK came out that I got into Blanca, and all of a sudden, that was my guy. That was my go-to. And we got a super chat from Tyrone the Positive. He says, pick a 50 Shades of Jay-Z album. It'll be better than Kingdom Come, R.I.P. Virgil, Off-White, Fly God Forever.
I do kind of feel like Blanca could be like a nigga, though. Like, you see his hair. He is from, he has some nigga qualities for sure. And he will shock your ass, too, if you pull up.
Real name is Jimmy. Like, I don't know, could be.
I mean, come on.
Yeah,
signs are all there.
Yeah, no, Blanca's
he had
been
a perm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I was big on Vega growing up. I was a big Vega fan.
Nice. Yeah,
I messed around with Ken. I know it's super cliche, but man, I just always, those combos are classic, man.
Yeah, I mean, I was a Ken guy for a long time. Honestly, the only reason I stopped playing with Ken was because people were shaming people who play with Ken.
Right,
or
exactly.
It became this whole thing of like, oh, we got another Ken player here.
Right.
And it's like,
Lupe's a Ken player, isn't he? Yeah, he's a Ken player.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like people like to dog on Ken players because they're like, oh, of course everybody likes to play with Ken. Ken's for people who don't know real Street Fighter. And it's like,
get out.
Yeah, I know. Come on.
Sound like wrestling fans.
So
name your top 5 Ken matches right now.
So yeah, I personally got into Blanca for that very reason. And so Matt sent us a super chat, says chilling on a Saturday, hype for tonight's GCW show, but got that up down feeling on the NWA card. So those were the other 2 things I was going to talk about. There's actually 3 things.
Super up down. You're right.
So let's go. And also, Marco Dominguez sent us a super chat, or sent us a humper chat. Says Blanca was top tier in Capcom versus SNK. Good choice. That's where I got into Blanca, was Capcom versus SNK. And then I retroactively, when I was playing Street Fighter 2, and we had, and they finally added online play to those. That's when I started playing with them there. But yes, Capcom versus SNK 2, I still think is the greatest fighting game of all time. It's like, to me, still unbeatable. If they could release that with online play, I think that would be unbeatable. As I'm saying this out loud, like the soundtrack is playing in my head right now. I love Capcom vs. SNK 2. I play that on this arcade like all the time. But anyway, so yeah, we have NWA, and there's reasons to be excited for it. And we're specifically referring to Hard Times 2, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so NWA Hard Times 2.
Grapsody favorite is going to be in the building. Darius Lockhart.
That was what I was going to say. Was
card.
The reason I'm excited for it is getting to see Darius Lockhart. But it's a big card. There's 13 matches. We're going to see Mickie James defending the Knockouts title against Kiera Hogan.
That'll be good. We like that.
Which is like really interesting, right? Because like, neither of them are like directly signed to Impact, if I'm not mistaken. Because obviously Kiera Hogan left Impact like 2 months ago, and
Kiera Hogan is signed with AEW, ain't she?
Yeah, right. I don't know if she's on a full-time deal, but she's definitely on. And Marco Dominguez just let me know that Capcom vs. SNK 2 has free net play now. Shut up. We got to talk later because I've not looked into that. I am literally just playing the Naomi ROM on the arcade here. So, but the so I do think that's cool though. That she still gets the challenge here. But yeah, she is a part of AEW, not in Impact officially in any capacity. Kiera's not in Impact in any capacity at all. And then Mickie James is, of course, signed with NWA. But she's defending her Knockouts title against Kiera Hogan tonight. And like, we're going to see...
That's 3 companies in the mix right there. That's wild.
Yeah, there's 3 companies in the mix. Like Forbidden Door is still like swung wide open. And what else is there that's of interest? Like we got the
Jazz.
Jazz. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Black G's on the card somewhere, I think.
Let me see. I got the card.
The women's tag match is cool too. It's Allison Kay, Marty Bell versus Tootie and
Kylie Ray.
Kylie Ray, yeah. That's going to be a great match.
Oh wait, and then there's a mystery opponent for Natalia Markova's partner. So,
oh really?
Ooh, who could that be? Guess we'll
I
find
mean,
out.
NWA though, you can't trust them with no mysteries.
Yeah, and it's a really like up and down card because I'm like trying to pick stuff of interest. You know, I always have love for Mike Bennett. I think he's a really great dude. And they've got the ROH tag titles on the line. The OG Kingdom are defending him against Aaron Stephen and JR Kratos.
I like Mike Bennett a lot. He's really cool.
Yeah, he is.
He's dope. He's for the culture. But then there's a lot of awful stuff on here. Austin Aries is there.
Yeah.
Tyrus is still wrestling. He can barely walk. And he's on Fox News also. The most important part why he's terrible.
Get that television title off Tyrus, man.
Man,
please,
and you know the worst
please.
part is he takes the title to he takes it on Fox News with him. I think that's the silliest looking thing of you know how people used to riot.
They probably like it though, I'm sure.
I mean, honestly, if I were running Fox News, I would look at it like, who is this fucking dork with this belt like on TV?
Honestly.
Because you know how like when The Rock was WWE champion like back in 2013, but he was also promoting I think it was G.I. Joe at the time. But he wasn't like taking the belt anywhere with him. And people were like, why don't you like take the belt? And it's like, well, because, you know, I don't care. But
this is a favor, dude. I'm not about to be carrying this dumb belt around.
I feel like that was the moment where he was just like, man, listen, when I'm out of here, I'm out of here. Don't text me. Don't call me. I don't want to hear it.
Don't call here. Do not call here, man.
Yeah.
Y'all calling here again? I'm not going to be at WrestleMania. Leave me alone. Fast and Furious 18 is going to be out.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting that with all of that talk that was going on, and I'm certain that there were plans in place. I'm not saying that anybody's reports were wrong on that as far as The Rock being at Survivor Series, being at WrestleMania this year. But I do feel like The Rock kind of really tried to like let us know just a few years ago that Cena match was kind of his last one. And like every time people ask him, he's like, yeah, you know, we'll see. But
you know.
He's keeping hope alive. I don't know why. You know?
Yeah. You know, I feel like in his head it was like, you know, I passed the torch to John Cena like 8 years ago. What more do y'all want from me?
I raised Roman's hand at that one Royal Rumble. That was it. Leave me. Let me go and be this movie star. They will not let him go and be a movie. He's like, do you guys know I'm a giant movie star? I'm one of the biggest movie stars in the whole world. I can't just be coming around for SmackDown, even though it's from me and I made that name.
Yeah.
I'm The Rock.
Yeah, we got a few more super chats.
You know how much money The Rock makes?
T. Daniel Barber says, shout out for the fight game love. Capcom needs to bring back Darkstalkers. Oh my God, Darkstalker. Like a Darkstalkers reboot would be awesome. And D'Lo Dig says, Nash or Camille are my main too. Nice. And I'm glad you said Nash and not Charlie, though I guess it's now Charlie Nash in Street Fighter 5, so it doesn't matter. And Maj Hates All says, if it's standard Street Fighter like Alpha 2, 4, or 5, I'll stick to Ryu. If it's Street Fighter 3 / Third Strike, Makoto or Dudley, okay. Yeah, and because I feel like Street Fighter 3 has no Blanca equivalent, and that kind of drives me nuts. I like Alex in Street Fighter 3. Let's see. Eloquent said, SRS said Hogan isn't on a full-time deal. And, well, good. We're getting SRS information on our on a Fightful show.
Wow, look, we're just dropping news, baby.
Yeah.
Kier Hogan not on a deal.
We got
the text.
Corey said, love the podcast. Have any of you guys heard The Next Rap God 2 by Dax? If not, you should check it out. He has some wrestling bars in there. I haven't heard that.
I haven't heard that.
I don't know who that is.
Well, then I will.
Sorry, I did not know this man.
You know what? I'm going to put this in my notes for later. And then we got Tyrone the Positive said, Westside Gun and Griselda rekindled my love for wrestling. They have had half of AEW on their albums. They should have more respect. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, seriously. They do not factor that in, that a bunch of Griselda fans are here because Westside Gun is talking about wrestling on every single project he puts out, has a promo or something about wrestling on every one of his projects, but they still won't even acknowledge the man. I mean, I think he's doing them a favor at this point.
I feel like after this week, And go figure. It's after somebody says something. I think this week may be his week, in the sense that so many people have kind of come out in support of him, and like Ricky Starks was even like, hey, didn't even know you were at the show, man. Next time, let me know. And like I have a feeling that because so many people said something this week, that next time is probably going to really go in his favor. It's a shame it had to come to that.
But like, how do you not know West Side Gun's at the show? He's right there in front.
Right.
You see a dude with all this jewelry on, and like, there's not just a regular fool sitting out front. Like, that's somebody.
Right. And especially because, they highlighted T-Pain, who was only out there for the main event. But of course,
watch out with the T-Pain disrespect, too, y'all people on here. I saw way too much T-Pain disrespect because y'all like West Side Gun. We love West Side Gun. But T-Pain is a legend out here. Yeah, don't be like Usher. Don't tell him that he ruined music with auto-tune. Stop it. It's T-Pain, one of the greatest of all time. I danced to Buy You a Drink way too many times in 2007, and I don't want to hear the disrespect. Yeah, it's T-Pain, man. Come on,
yeah,
you guys.
man. I don't want to hear the disrespect for T-Pain. He was even on damn it, I was gonna bring it back around to Flow Rider.
Oh God, you know how to bring every hip hop conversation back around to Flow Rider. What's happened?
Yo,
look, man, Flow Rider's biggest hit had T-Pain on it. I'm just saying.
Oh God.
But either way, I agree.
Flowers, man.
Yeah, give West Side. Absolutely.
That's it. That's all we saying, man. It's Griselda. It's Griselda. And y'all niggas broke.
Vincent says, most underrated fighting games, Power Stone 1 and 2. Dear Capcom, re-released them on modern platforms, you cowards. I mean, look, I was a Dreamcast dude, so you don't have to tell me about Power Stone 1 and 2. I had Power Stone at launch. That was one of the most fun games, especially because, the Dreamcast came out. It had the 4 controller ports, and I don't know. I feel like maybe I just knew a community of black people who loved the Dreamcast, but like me and my friends, like we all had Dreamcast, and we would all bring our controllers over with the little visual memory units, and we all played Power Stone, and it was fun. Power Stone is dope. I hate that there hasn't been anything more, especially like online. Like thinking about that type of fighting game and the way it worked, that having online play would be crazy today. And I'm glad that this is just where this conversation all went. MJ Johnson said, just wanted to shout y'all. Just wanted to shout y'all out. I look forward to seeing the podcast every Saturday, and in my opinion, they should remaster or make a new Def Jam. Yeah, I agree with that. I would like.
They've been talking about that. Def Jam's been tweeting out like teasers for like the last 5 years, just playing with everybody. Hey, would you guys like to see this?
Who's on the Def Jam roster anymore that would be in this game other than old Def Jam artists?
To be fair,
Snoop is now. I think Snoop is like the new something of Def Jam. So like he signed Benny the Butcher is now on Def Jam. So like Snoop's trying to like redo the roster, which is dope. The last Snoop album was pretty dope too, which is like a kind of a compilation of what the new Def Jam is, and it's dope. Check out the new Snoop album, Big Snoop Dogg.
2 Chainz is officially signed to Def Jam. That'd be fun. But I was thinking about the fact that because the first Def Jam game, Vendetta, was just all Def Jam artists, but this Fight for New York had outside artists. They had they had signed a lot of deals for that one, and so like honestly, if it's just a wrestling game with rappers, I would take that.
Wait a minute. Snoop was in Def Jam Fight for New York. That game predicted that he would be president of Def Jam.
Yeah, it did.
He was.
My God! Wow, that is.
He was the main bad guy in the game too.
He brought it back around. Snoop was like, "No, I was playing Def Jam Fight for New York the other day. I'm like, let's do that for real. Let me sign this contract."
So yeah, Def Jam Fight for New York was fun.
That's hard.
Because like that one wasn't even really a wrestling game as much as it was just a fighting game that used the engine from No Mercy. But I feel like that was the most fun. I love Def Jam Vendetta as just like a crazy over-the-top pro wrestling game. And if it were up to me, I would like to see it back in a wrestling ring because that was just the funness.
Maybe just
of
a mixture of both.
Yeah. Whatever they do next. I did not like, what was the third one? Def Jam Icon, I think it was.
I never played that one.
It wasn't the same. Like the second you play and you're like, oh, this isn't even like a wrestling game at all. This is literally just a fighting game that doesn't use any parts of the Aki engine.
Boo.
Yeah, so whack stuff. But either way, I was a big fan of those Def Jam games. What else we got this weekend?
Oh, let me get into the every time I forget, it's classic for me. Today, the BW500 Wrestler of the Week random number generator was number 218. That's Raheem De La Suede. He is one half of a really dope young tag team called Technical Difficulties. They're out of St. Louis. St. Louis has a pretty insane scene going on right now with Davey Richards is teaching a lot of these black wrestlers that are incredible. Tootie Lenz out there, Camaro Jackson. It's a great bunch of people. They're wrestling in Glory Pro, WrestleMax St. Louis. Check out Technical Difficulties. They're a really dope tag team. They were a part of the Black Wrestlers Matter event. They'll probably be a part of the next one. I think the next Black Wrestlers Matter event actually is in St. Louis, tying all these things together. So February is going to be pretty insane for Black wrestling. They've announced 3 or 4 events that are going to be crazy right now. So, 218, Raheem De La Suede, Black Wrestling's 500 Wrestler of the Week. Shout out to him.
Yeah. Technical Difficulties is dope.
I think we can tell everybody, too, because I just remembered. We haven't talked about this yet. Me and Phil are going to Terminus.
We will be in the building for Terminus.
Yeah, we will be in the building. So that is going to be nice. That's going to be fun.
Right.
We'll be in Atlanta. That is January 16th.
2/3 of the Grapsody boys. I would be there, but I'm really trying super duper hard to end up in New York City for Hammerstein GCW New York. So I'm like, I don't know, can't be traveling all these places. But I don't know. You never know. Times change, things change. I could end up in Atlanta. It's lit out in Atlanta. I love Atlanta, so you never know.
Out in Atlanta getting mixy, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm saying, bro. I'm saying.
You know what? This is my first time in Atlanta.
Really?
Yes.
Wee.
So
really,
yes.
Yeah,
that's why I was
pull
all
up,
over it. So we'll be there though, and
I was there for one WrestleMania weekend, and I almost just stayed. I was like, "Yo, I'm not leaving it's amazing here." It's just like the energy there is. I related a lot to Oakland because like they have the same type of vibes, and it's great, man. You're gonna love it.
Nice.
Hey.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited to go. And we had talked about that, but officially. I kind of say officially because I'm having some trouble getting my flights because I got these vouchers. But every time I try to use them, because I had so many canceled flights over the last 2 years, usually for COVID-related reasons, I got a ton of vouchers that I'm like, you know what? It's time to just cash these in and use them. And I'm trying to use them, and the website keeps crashing on me. And I'm like, I'm going to just call.
It's a scam.
I'm going to call today. Like, you are going to let me use these vouchers. Because as soon as I put all these vouchers in, the total comes to $0.00, and I just hit submit, and then it says an error has occurred. And I'm like, no.
They're like, nah. They're like, you gotta give up
nah.
something, big dog.
Yeah.
You can't be just going for $0.00.
I even tried to remove one of them, and it came up to like $11, and I'm like, okay, let's see if this works. And it keeps crashing, and then like it's only gonna let me go through if I pay. And what good are these flight vouchers that I was given for my canceled flights? So I'm like really mad about this, but I know the flights I'm gonna take, and there's literally no seats taken on them. I keep reserving the best seats and all of that. I'm gonna go, but I have not booked my flights. I do have my tickets, and of course, I even talked with Baron Black recently, and it's gonna be
everybody
fun.
talking to Baron Black. Baron Black is making the rounds. He's like, yo, who's black? And in the media scene, I'm gonna talk to him. Shout out to Baron Black. Shout out to Jonathan Gresham. They have been announcing an insane amount of talent for this card that's going to be happening. I'm very jealous that you guys are going to be there, man. It's going to be a dope show.
Yay high. I'm very excited about that announcement.
Lee Moriarty, come on, you guys.
They have made some great talent announcements.
It's going to be crazy.
Maybe
they'll do this match. That's great. Oh my God, they're going to do this match that I've pitched to all 3 of them before. I've interviewed Jonathan Gresham, Fred Yehi, and Lee Moriarty. I said, look, my dream match is you guys have a triple threat match. It's the last match of the show. It's a 1-hour Iron Man match. You guys just go for an hour. There's no pinfalls. No one has a pinfall. You guys just wrestle for an hour, and then at the end, we all cry tears of joy because we just seen the greatest match of all time. So do it. Fred Yehi, Jonathan Gresham, Lee Moriarty, book the match. 1 hour. It sounds insane. It's going to be amazing. Come on, you guys, do it. I'm telling you. Book the match. I pitched it to all 3 of them, so it's already in all three of their brains. So let's go. Jonathan Gresham liked it. He said he'll do it. So look, let's go.
Hey,
Yep.
if you
Book
see
the
that
match,
match,
baby.
if you see that match, guys, you know where you heard it first.
Good boy.
And we got Ryan Sullivan sent in a Humper Chat, humperchats.com. He said, "Can Will and Phil please convince the Terminus guys to call their wrestlers termites?"
Nah, I think, man, listen. When I listened to Gresham on the SRS interview, and he was like, "Nah, I don't like that superstar stuff. Stop calling us that. We're grapplers, bro." I was like, "Hey, talk about it, man. I don't want to be called a superstar. Stop it."
Yep. Let's see. We got a couple more super chats. We got this one from Brent. He says, "Afternoon, gentlemen. Hope your weeks were great. Punk Moriarty feels like just one more example of how crazy this year has been." Yep, we're going to be talking about that in just here in a little bit.
This year's wild.
It's been a wild, wild year. And we have Tyrone the Positive says, met Kevin Lillis pre-Panny at a biz conference, asked about Vendetta. The assets are split between Def Jam, THQ, Nordic, 2K, and WWE. The game may not happen.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean,
Scoops.
yeah, there's a lot that it is crazy.
A lot of moving parts.
Yeah, how many moving parts there are with just getting certain stuff done. And that's happened a lot, too, because so many gaming companies have gone under and whatnot. And Van Twinblade says, "Speaking of Fred, how tall is he?" About yay high.
Come on, man. Get out of here, Van. Get out of here.
First one to ever say that one, Van.
But anyway, also this weekend, we have NXT WarGames.
It don't feel right without Regal yelling War Games, and I think
I haven't heard it one time. That's why, yeah, you're right.
That's why I didn't know War Games was even this weekend, because he hasn't said it. So the gauntlet hasn't been officially thrown out.
I mean, they are really trying to hammer it to you. Look, this is not the old NXT. And this show is going to be the show to do it, because Team 2.0 is going to kick the shit out of Team Black.
They're going to squash them.
They're going to squash them.
Send them off on their way.
Now
they're setting it up so funny too. It's just like they're like, "You old people are gonna be gone. We don't need you old people. It's the young guard now." But it's like, yo, old people are the only ones that watch this show. Y'all need to stop disrespecting y'all demographic. You can't be talking about your demographic like that, man. The old people are the ones that are here. They don't know who anybody is anyway. So you could just cycle in all these type of different wrestlers all you want. War Games is happening, just like Phil said. I didn't know it was happening because William Regal hasn't said it out loud, and also because the show's terrible. But they have some things that are gonna be cool. Roderick Strong is wrestling Joe Gacy. Then they're gonna retire the Cruiserweight Championship like a bunch of idiots. I don't really know what they're doing here.
Maybe.
But, okay, wait. I want to talk about the Cruiserweight title for a second, because that belt. A lot has gone on with that belt that's been very odd over the last couple of years. I was of the belief, and I got shit for it when I said it, but I thought it was a mistake to make the belt exclusive to NXT. Mainly because at the time, I think up until let's think about this, right? How many NXT champions have been under 205 pounds? Like Finn Balor and pretty sure Adam Cole is. And
Gargano, probably.
Yeah, and to me, it was like, what exactly differentiates in NXT the Cruiserweight title from the NXT title? What about that title would you go for over the NXT title that has had so many smaller guys as champion? So to me, that always drove me nuts. And I thought, NXT's probably not the place for that belt in a place where there aren't so many weight distinctions. The other issue I had with the NXT Cruiserweight title is that they just never really knew what position it was supposed to be in. And then after a while, they just gave up on the weight limit. Like 205 Live, at one point, Odyssey Jones wrestled on 205 Live. There is nothing about that is 205 Live any longer. And so I get it. I get why the belt isn't.
It needed to just continue to be how they were originally doing it when they were having it on Raw or SmackDown, whatever show. When they were switching out of the ropes and doing a little too much. But honestly, all you need to do is have a cruiserweight title match on SmackDown, on
Yeah.
Raw. Have cruiserweight match. Just do it just like WCW did. Here's a random cruiserweight match that's here, and that's just going to be a great match that you
I'm
want to see.
surprised that they. I mean, not surprised.
They didn't.
I'm not surprised that they still didn't get what the cruiserweight title was supposed to be all about. But like, yeah, they really did try to like overdo it. Where they're like, all right, now it's time for a cruiserweight match. We're gonna do these ropes
don't do
and
that.
the lighting.
Just do
and, like,
the match, man. We're gonna be blown away when the match is happening in the ring. When you got, especially at that time, they had Neville, they had Cedric Alexander, they had Grand Metalik. They had all these guys. They had Ali and Buddy Murphy. They had all these guys that were going to blow you away when they had the match. But they were like, look, we have to put all this different rules and regulations. And then they put them after SmackDown. It was doomed from the start because they don't like little guys because that's what this dumb company is.
You know what, though?
Rest in peace to 205 Live.
I have a hot take.
Uh-oh.
Hindsight being 2020, the best cruiserweight champion was Enzo Amore.
I knew it.
That's
a
lie.
What's happening.
That's big cap.
I knew he was
I will not
talking
allow you
crazy
to lie
out
like
here,
that
Phil.
on our podcast, Will. I
Phil,
will not
he is
allow
talking
it.
crazy.
I will not allow this.
Look, man.
No, he was not.
Look. I'm not saying the best wrestler to be champion was Enzo Amore. Keep that in mind. Not saying that at all. But what I am saying is when you're looking at the reigns, like they were letting him close out Raw. Like he actually was the only guy who was like kind of a main event dude with the cruiserweight title. And in hindsight, like he was the only guy because he was the merch seller and all that they were willing to put forward as like a cruiserweight champion that mattered. Everybody else didn't get to be that, but they were willing to do that with him.
I see what you're saying. The best cruiserweight champion was definitely Neville, though. So
exactly. I was no, we're not doing that. Come on now. He was not the best cruiserweight champion.
I mean, I was at the Royal Rumble where Neville, when he beat Rich Swann, right? That was at the Royal Rumble in 2017.
Though they had some incredible matches.
They did.
My
goodness. As much as you've got problematic guys that were in that division. He had some great matches with Austin Aries as well. Had the great match with TJP.
Yeah. Pac was the best. Yes, but like Enzo Amore was like the one that they were like, nah, we're actually gonna like feature him and like he's gonna close out Raw. And,
they should have just kept doing that with different guys. Is what I felt.
Yeah, I don't remember a single Enzo Amore match.
Wasn't talking about matches. I was talking about like where they're willing to showcase the champion. Enzo Amore was the guy that they were willing to do that with.
I would even say the best angle I feel like he had on Raw was when Neville came out and beat him up and did his dance over him. I thought that was great.
But that closed out the man. That also closed out the show. Like that was the end of a Raw. Like that was like the only time they were willing to do that, and it's pretty crazy. We got some super chats talking about cruiserweights. The cruiserweight title, hell, 205 in general, had so many great matches that no one ever saw. Could have integrated.
Love 205
with Raw.
The Cruiserweight Classic is legit one of the best tournaments ever, and they just threw it away.
I will throw out a hot take on top of Will's. At its peak, 205 Live was WWE's best show at one point.
Definitely, I like.
You know what's great though, and this is like probably one of those like Tony Khan kind of layups. Because 205 Live had so much great content that nobody saw, and he's kind of signing up these guys from 205 Live, he can repeat all of that content, and nobody has to know that it was shit that was already done. Like, there's a whole lot of people who are like, I don't know what Tony Nese is going to bring to the table. What is Tony Nese offering, right? But like, people who watch 205 Live are like, oh, we know what Tony Nese brings to the table, right? So Tony Nese gets to prove a lot of people wrong without... or gets to prove a lot of people wrong simply because they only know Tony Nese as, that guy who like occasionally appeared on Raw every once in a while.
Right. The WWE guy, another not WWE guy when you see him go for it.
Tony Nese is the man. All 8 Fs coming to an AEW Dynamite show.
Now, I remember Tony Nese before WWE when he was in Impact and he was tearing it up then. He's been a really great talent for a long time, man. Those New York boys, man, there's a lot of very talented. He might be a Mikey Ripwreck trainee, maybe. I could be guessing, but all those guys that are down with those with that camp are just incredible, and he's one of them. So, but yeah, Tony Khan. It feels like we're seeing.
You're correct,
with,
by the way. He was trained by Mikey Whipwreck.
Oh, let's go, baby. He was all these Sammy Guevara TNT title challenger matches have been great. He's been taking on like indie, like the upper echelon of like indie guys who have kind of been mixed up with like other companies. So he took on Tony Nese, he took on Jay Lethal, he took on what's the other dude's name? I'm drawing a blank right now. But yeah, these matches have been really great. The one last night was pretty dope. I liked it a lot. Tony Nese is really a great talent, and he's going to show some more for sure.
And that was Sammy's 4th title defense. So he's trying to rack him up. Because I looked at it the other day. I was surprised. Miro's had 9. He had 9 title defenses. And like the record is still Darby. Darby had 10. But Miro had 9 title defenses like that.
Yeah, that was a monster run.
There's going to be a whole lot. Like Sammy's got a lot to keep up. But he's already at 4. So, but talking about WarGames, I was looking at Team Black and Gold, and like I get it because of who he is, but it is weird that the old names of NXT are like Tommaso Ciampa makes sense, Johnny Gargano makes sense, Pete Dunne kinda. LA Knight debuted this year.
He's not the old NXT. He's not.
That should be Kyle's spot on the team, and that tells you everything about how they felt about Kyle after Adam left. That should be his spot on that WarGames, and he has more experience than anybody else in WarGames matches. He's been in 3, so he should be in that match.
But instead, Von Wagner.
Yeah, that tag match makes no sense. They're gonna lose. Imperial's gonna win.
Like what?
And then so the word going around, according to the Observer this week, is that the cruiserweight title, that Joe Gacy's expected to win it and just turn it into something else. So like NXT is going to have another belt. It's going to stick around.
Awful.
It's just going.
So is that an actual report, or was that like?
I believe that was in the newsletter, but because I am an Observer subscriber, so this isn't one of those things where I can just like.
Oh man,
he is as they say, dirt sheet dad.
Sorry guys, if you're not Meltzer guys, if you're not AEW guys, sorry, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Here's the thing too: is before I even joined, before Grapsody even joined Fightful. I also was a Fightful Select subscriber. Turns out I like wrestling news, and I like supporting people who work to make wrestling news happen. And so because it's obviously like if you are a good reporter, there's a chance that you should probably get paid for it, and I like seeing people get paid for it.
And some people you see a lot of people talk about like these wrestling news sites and how they like quote unquote ruin wrestling or some blah blah blah. Some people like the backstage stuff. Some people like to talk about ratings and hear about ratings. Some people like all the other stuff that goes and surrounds pro wrestling. It enhances it for us. It doesn't make it worse because we know the quote unquote secrets of the business. It's just like we want to know every single aspect of what's going on. Some of it is really cool to me. I go and browse Reddit Squared Circle to see what those fans like and what they talk about, because I like to see what different fans are like into. When I think something was awful, I'll go on there and someone will be like, that was great, I loved it for all these reasons. And so it's like it's deep, man. Pro wrestling, there's a lot going on.
I will say this, since we're in the wrestling journalist space, all of you weird anti-wrestling media folks, you don't have to read any of this stuff. You can always mute all of these websites that you don't want to see on your Twitter account. Just don't read them. There's some people
Just don't look.
Hey, that's all you got to do, man. And there's certain people that you should absolutely just not look at their stuff because it's trash.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Like, you do not have to take part in any of this wrestling media stuff. I hate that Twitter has given people this standpoint in the world where they feel like if I don't like something, it shouldn't exist. No, you just don't have to partake in it.
Oh, and by the way, so I definitely just checked. So I want to issue a correction that was not in this week's Observer newsletter. So don't put that on the Observer newsletter because that wasn't specifically
It's all
in
on
the
Will
newsletter.
Washington.
That was on Will.
It's a Will Washington exclusive report.
Yeah, no.
Will Washington. That's his drop before it comes.
And you know
out.
the funny thing is that like when I talk to people in wrestling, it's one of those things of I don't even like to like drop news out there, so it's just like I just hang on to information. It is just like whatever, just keep
Right.
it.
Yeah, like I just want to hear like cool things about my friends. I'm not gonna leak it
Right.
out into the world. It's like, damn, that's dope, you know.
Yeah, that's
But
it.
then some people get hung up on like, well, I had this story first. Like, it doesn't matter, dude. Shut up, leave it alone.
Yeah. So we
They're
got
not for you, anyways.
our boy Chris. He said 205 Live produced the match of the week
it
on a
did.
regular basis. Ali, Alexander, Murphy, Pac, Nice, and others were outshining everyone.
Crazy, yeah.
Big
Every week.
blood.
Yeah, Maj Hates All says Enzo Amore, a cruiserweight champion so good that Pac having to drop the belt to him was the straw that broke his back in terms of
Pac
staying
was like,
with
you
the
know
Fed.
what? Maybe this ain't for me. I gotta
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, he ruined he ruined Neville's run with that company, man.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the last straw.
NWA Bad Blood says, good morning, guys. Gotta say, it was fun having Phil on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling podcast last week. Now we got to get a barbershop commercial on.
Phil was busy.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out.
Everybody
That was a lot of
busy
fun.
out here, man. We on like 20. We on all kind of podcasts throughout the week.
Yeah.
All three of us. It's just
Yeah.
like a new podcast for one of us.
Matter of fact, shout out Denise. She and I did, as I promoted last week or hinted at last week, we did the Mariah Carey countdown this past week. Counted down my top 10 Mariah Carey songs. And it's officially a playlist. If you look up Will Washington Mariah Carey playlist on YouTube Music, you can listen to my top 10 and decide if you agree or
love to
disagree.
hear.
Because you'll be surprised that the funny thing was we did our top 10 countdowns between the two of us, 19 different songs. We did not like with a woman who has 15 studio albums. It's not surprising that like that we didn't come up with a lot of the same, but literally we had very few songs between us. Obviously, she cheated. She picked 11 songs, but there was only 2 songs between the two of us. So I know, shame on Denise Salcedo.
Shame.
Also, shout out to Denise because she will be on the NXT pre-show tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
On the pre-show panel. So
That's what's up.
Yeah, and shout out to Denise because Denise is extremely hardworking.
Extremely
I see how people
hardworking.
come at her a little bit, and it's gross. Knock it off.
They
Let
hate
her do her
anybody
job.
who winning. That's what haters do. If you're winning, they're gonna hate. So
Yeah, come on, man.
and Denise is doing her thing. And we got Shauna Walensky said, I'm
It's
sorry,
not.
it's not War Games until William Regal says
It's just
so.
not.
WWE owes us for this horrible stuff they put us through.
Like at least tomorrow before the show, when the show starts, have them come out and say it or something. Like, come on, man, we need that.
That he's not
We
even
need that.
like involved in the show at all. And you know what?
Right.
Trash.
Y'all still have not remotely addressed Samoa Joe. It was just
Where is Samoa
at
Joe?
all. It was literally
Where
just
is
like
Samoa
he's
Joe?
dropping the title and we're done. Like
I feel like there's something that happened backstage when NXT 2.0 first came and Vince walked back there and he was like, "Wait a minute, you're still here? I released you,
right?
You're here.
How
You're
what are you
champion.
doing here?
Give me that."
there
Yeah.
has been nothing, just complete radio silence on Samoa
He's
Joe.
sitting in the same backstage area as Elias is somewhere, just lost in the dark. Where is Elias, bro? What did y'all do with Elias?
Because like I'm now looking up Samoa Joe's Twitter and just I want to see like what was the last thing he even like talked about on that.
Probably
But
nothing.
yeah, nothing.
Yeah, free Samoa Joe, man.
Man, oh, you know what? They got a new Samoa Joe. The homie Sefa Fatu. What did they change his name to? What is his
starts with
NXT
S.
2.0 name?
Sorry,
Sika.
Sika. Yeah, Sika.
something? I think Sika might be his dad, actually.
Yeah, Sika's his dad. That's why I was like, yeah, that's his dad.
No,
Sika.
Rikishi is his dad. Sika is Roman's dad. I do not know what his name is, but they're like, we got this, we're good. We don't need Samoa Joe. We have all these other Samoans.
I'm just gonna stop with this facade. I don't watch that show. I don't know what anybody's name is on the show. I don't watch it. It's a bad show. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know.
Let's just put it out there. Let's
look,
just put it out there.
I am gonna watch Takeover though. I am curious.
It ain't a takeover though. This is just.
I'm sorry,
bro. It
Takeover.
really
War
drives
Games.
me crazy because Carmelo Hayes is there and he is so talented. Like he's so like he is like
they're correcting
we
us
all
in the
should
chat.
be like on his back.
It's Solo Sikoa.
There you go. Solo
Sikoa.
Sikoa.
Yeah, that's
Solo.
his name.
Solo.
Oh yeah, like Aaron Solo. Yeah, they just like draw.
You know what I hate, by the way? I have to talk about this. One of the things WWE does that drives me nuts. So when they introduce people who they're not like they're willing to address that they're related to somebody, but like usually people who are related have like matching last names, and it has never made sense to me how like Jimmy and Jay Uso, for example, are obviously, as they put it out there, the sons of Rikishi Fatu.
They're Fatus, yeah.
Yeah. and it's not like we don't know that was the name of Rikishi Fatu. And like,
Yes.
we also know that Uso is not their last name. That is specifically the word for brother. And yet, it's like, but we also have to make it their name. I don't know. It just kind of drives me nuts. Like they're doing all.
And then when their real life Uso comes, their real life one comes. Let's not call him an Uso though. He's not their brother. Their actual real life brother is not their brother.
Nah, man.
What?
Nah, he's rolling Dolo. That's why he changed his name to Solo. That's what it is. Solo.
Let's see.
Maybe he'll be the one to beat Roman. I don't know. Who knows? Family. Keep it in the family.
Family.
We got some more super chats. Oscar says, new fan of the show. You guys give different takes and views on wrestling and shit. That is much appreciated. Hope you guys have Andrew Thompson again soon. Of course we will.
Yeah, that was fun. Always.
And let's see. Ken says NXT 2.0 is the only WWE show I watch. Not because it's good. It's not at all. But because the glorious car crash nonsense is at least entertaining.
I was about to say that. Why do you watch it?
I mean, like if you're gonna watch a WWE show, that's probably the one to watch if you're gonna like want to see this silly shit because the other shows are silly as hell too, and you might as well like see something new and interesting. The other stuff is just old silly shit that we've been seeing for 10 years now. So
yeah, hold up. So I was having a conversation with Paul Griffin this week, and we were talking about the look of NXT 2.0, and God, I gotta find it. All right, so what I want you to do, because you'll never unsee it again. So I think we all grew up in the 90s, right? And if you didn't, there was a show that used to air back in the day. It was an afternoon talk show. And if you were a stay-at-home in the summer kid who didn't have shit else to do, you probably watched Jenny Jones. And so the set for NXT 2.0 looks exactly like Jenny Jones. And to the point of where there's an episode of Jenny Jones. I want you specifically to look up an episode because Jenny Jones was a daytime talk show and it always had like the corniest titles every episode, right? And so there's an episode called "Hey Punk, Lose the Funk," and it was about people who thought that their punk rock friends were going overboard and need makeovers to look like normal people.
I thought that was about an MJF promo. It sounds like one almost. Punk lose the funk.
And so
step it up, MJF.
Look up the episode, Hey Punk, Lose the Funk. And, like, look at the set, look at the colors, look at when everybody walks out and tell me it don't look like an NXT entrance. Like, it don't look like the whole
Jones, bro.
Are you talking about when they do the makeovers?
Like, and then, like, people walk out on the, like, people walk out on the stage. Well, because, like, I had originally just said, like, something about NXT 2.0 set looks like a daytime talk show. And then Paul goes, yeah, like Jenny Jones. And I'm like... And so I was like, oh, yeah, Jenny Jones. And I was like, I haven't seen an episode of Jenny Jones in forever. And so I, like, looked it up. Because, like, if you sat at home, you watched Jenny Jones and Ricky Lake and, like, all that bullshit, right? And so I looked up an episode and I saw the title "Hey Punk, Lose the Funk" because it's like the stupidest sounding title, and I'm like, this has to be the most Jenny Jones episode of all of them. And I watched it and I'm like, this looks exactly like NXT 2.0. The whole presentation is Jenny Jones.
We can bring it back around with Jenny Jones too, because there's a very special episode featuring Mickie James that she did some things on there. Look it up, Mickie James. She was Alexis Lurie at the time.
Oh my God! Yeah,
I think it's
Mickie
Jenny Jones. Yeah.
She was the guest. It was from Nerd to Knockout.
Knockout. See, look at this.
Look at that.
Back around the
Deeper, darker criminal
champion.
link.
Oh
wow.
my God.
Link. See how we bring it back, and I bring it back. Jenny Jones, baby. Jenny Jones. If you're a
Jenny
90s
Jones,
kid,
they used to
man,
love
you
doing
just
the
watch that show.
They used to love doing the makeover episodes, and but yeah, the episode she was on was called From Nerd to Knockout, and this is way before Impact existed. WCW was still in business at this point. Yeah, man, it's daytime talk show.
Shout out to Mickie James, man.
Shout out to Mickie James.
Shout out to Mickie.
All right.
Yeah.
We
love
got
Mickie.
other topics
She's incredible.
we got to address because Reg has been going to war on the Twitterverse with folks.
Let's take it to war.
Look, man, winter is coming, and it is coming for Reg because
Color for Reg.
Reg,
Just Reg.
Reg. So it has been announced that at the next pay-per-view, or not pay-per-view, the next major episode of Dynamite is going to be AEW Winter is Coming. The second edition of Winter is Coming, in which we are going to see Bryan Danielson go one-on-one with the AEW World Champion HANGMAN, which they actually just fixed. It's now HANGMAN again. But interesting choice of fonts there. And so
HANGMAN.
It said HANGMAN. Like they fixed it like literally on Rampage last night. It no longer said it, and on and like they fixed the graphic on Twitter and all of that. But Bryan Danielson is going to challenge for the title. The conventional
Bryan Danielson is going to win the AEW championship.
And Reg is all in
Winter
on just,
coming.
you know what? Just change the title.
See ya later. Hangman Page has only had 5 matches since June of this year. He has been all big. Every time I bring up Hangman Page, it's nothing but excuses from Hangman Page fans. He had a baby, the Dark Order. His mama was playing PlayStation. Look, I don't care what was going on here, bro. Look, I want to see. I try to look at wrestling sometimes as not all the backstage stuff. I know we talk about that. Sometimes I just look at it as like, I'm a wrestling fan. What if I was just a wrestling fan that only watched AEW? I don't go on the internet. I don't know about dirt sheets. I don't know about nothing. All I know is about the show that I watch on TNT and TBS. That's all I know. If that's all I know, I am not impressed by this. I'm not impressed. There was a story that you guys love and built. The story has been paid off. He won the championship. That's the story. The payoff happened. You guys keep talking about, well, the payoff. We saw the payoff. Everything else is just extra. He achieved the goal. He got to the highest of heights. He's the AEW World Champion. But now it's time for him to lose. Bryan Danielson, the greatest pro wrestler of our generation, is here. And some guy was like, what, are you going to just give it to Bryan Danielson off merit? Yes, motherfucker, it's Bryan Danielson. What do you mean? Am I going to give it to him off merit? It's Bryan Danielson, the greatest pro wrestler of our generation. Just because you only know Daniel Bryan, who wrestled fucking Roman Reigns. No, this guy, this company exists because of guys like Bryan Danielson. This guy is one of the greatest wrestlers of not just our generation, of all time. These people there are people that work for this company, because of this man. And he is still that guy, as we see every single week. He can have a great match with literally any person in the company, man, woman, child, QT Marshall, Billy Gunn. He could have great matches with all these people. And that's the reason why you make him the world champion, because he's the best wrestler there. If we want to talk about realism, if we want to talk about whatever, we want to talk about this guy's number one. The guy you thought was number one lost the title and he's hurt now. The number one pro wrestler in the world is Bryan Danielson. The guy that's the champion right now hasn't even defended. He hasn't even been on TV. He hasn't had a match. He hasn't done nothing since he won the belt but talk. I don't want to see fools that talk. I don't give a fuck about fools that talk, as you guys notice. So What's going on here? What are you doing here? Bryan Danielson's the man. That's the next world champ. Hangman Page is out of here, and I won't put on a cowboy hat or a cowboy shirt or cowboy boots because nobody be doing that. Bryan Danielson, the one.
Hey,
Bryan
Keith
totally
be doing
gonna
that.
lose.
I'm going to disagree with you because Brian Keith absolutely does that, and he's the man.
Oh
Hey.
yeah, I would never disrespect Brian Keith. That's the homie.
Reg, you're my guy. I also agree that, Bryan Danielson is the best wrestler in the company, but he's losing, man. He's not winning that match.
Come on, you
he's
guys,
losing.
for
He's
why?
totally losing.
He's losing.
He's totally losing. Yeah, totally losing. And now here's what I will agree with. I don't think, because you said one thing that you were like, not every champion needs to have these 1 year long title reigns.
Everybody's
I
like,
agree
yo,
with
you
that.
have to
I
do
actually
that
think
for 2 years.
I fully believe that Hangman is going to be the shortest reigning AEW champion. I just don't think it's going to be the first defense. I think my gut tells me he loses it at Double or Nothing, and I see the groan incoming. Think he loses it to MJF, and that's probably that's what my gut feels is going to happen there. But as far as Bryan's concerned, I love Bryan Danielson. I love the fact that Bryan Danielson's wrestling weekly. I love the fact that when they put out the rankings and they put everybody's match numbers up, Bryan Danielson is on pace to have more matches than a lot of people in a very short amount of time. His first match was back in September, and he has wrestled every single week since. Nobody else has been doing that at all.
He has
Jungle
12
Boy,
matches. Hangman Page has 5.
Hey,
I don't care that he had a baby. I'm just a wrestling fan that watches TV. I don't care about a baby, dude. I care
them
about
kids.
wrestlers in the wrestling rings, big bro. You
Like
said
Jungle-
fuck the kids? No, I didn't say fuck the kids. Look, the kids are great. But look, this is what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying,
and there's
I just like active wrestlers, man. I don't want
know.
to see. I don't want to see Roman Reigns come out and talk for. I don't care, bro. Get in the ring and defend that fucking championship so I can watch it. If you want to say you're the world champion, fucking defend it. He's gonna defend it one time against Bryan Danielson and lose. That winter is coming. I'm telling you, man. Listen, these are the facts. Bryan Danielson is on his way out of here. I know he probably signed a 3-year deal, but look, you got this guy at full capacity. You got to just go for it. Hangman Page in 3 years is gonna be in his prime. I don't think he's in his prime right now. I think he's approaching his prime. Look. Bryan Danielson is the guy, I'm telling you. If you want to get longevity out of this world championship in 3 months, put it on the guy. I'm not even saying Bryan Danielson needs to have the belt. I'm like, yo, give this guy the belt for 3 months. Watch how you become and make a world championship or world champion, and we're out of here. Easy as that.
Well, I will say this to that. First of all, I think that Adam Cole will be champion before Bryan Danielson. That's my hot take.
Okay. I like it.
But I don't think that he needs the title to do all of that. I think he's already been doing that with the company without a title. And I think, to your point, that Hangman hasn't done anything. You're right. He only just beat the best bout machine. But if you want to give him a rub more than beating Kenny, having him beat the guy that he could not beat is a pretty big rub. And so no matter how he beats him, I think he kind of needs this win to cement him as champion. That doesn't mean he needs to have a long run, but I think being the first person to pin Bryan Danielson is going to be a big feather in his cap.
I don't think he should be the first person to pin Bryan Danielson. That's probably where I'm going to end up with this. Like Hangman Page, what the fuck has he done to pin Bryan Danielson? I think John Silver should pin him on Wednesday. How about that? Yeah. What? How about that? We're talking about a Dark Order.
There's no whole rich
everything. I want to see John Silver do
what
it.
show am I
Back
on?
around to Mikey Ripwreck, baby. Let's go.
What show am I on right now where you're saying that John Silver should beat this guy, and this guy is saying that Enzo is the best cruiserweight champion? Where am I right now? Like what's happening right now? What's going on?
You're gonna come out with some wild take by the end of the show, Phil. I can feel it.
No, but I actually agree with you on a lot of what you're saying about Bryan Danielson. I just don't think he's gonna win. I think that this is Hangman's match to win, and I don't think he should lose. Yet.
I'm definitely just super being over the wall, being silly. Like Hangman, if I'm being 100% real, Hangman Page needs to win this match so bad. Like he has to. He legit has to win this match.
Nah, man, we're just gonna stick with this episode.
If this was Righteous Reg booking this shit, he would have lost that shit the 3 nights after he fucking won it. Because y'all, I'm bored, man. Bryan Danielson, when he's wrestling, I'm not bored at all. I'm up at the TV like this, like, oh my god, this is a great match. That's the greatest wrestler of all time.
I am enjoying the hell out of Bryan Danielson. No, this is the episode of just crazy takes. We're just gonna all say just like dumb shit today. You know what? As a matter of fact, the best belt of any of the belts in the history of pro wrestling is the spinner. All right.
Oh, this guy's really going off
Stop
on
it.
the edge,
Stop.
man. He just jumped.
Stop
It's
it.
the spinner.
He just said,
It's the spinner.
I'm hopping off. Wow.
Come on.
If it don't
stop
spin,
Whoa.
it ain't the GOAT.
Come
This is crazy takes all around. Nah, this,
Jeez.
I
I
don't
fucked
agree.
with it. That bell was, I mean, like, in hindsight, that's kind of dope that he did that. I wish a black man would have did it, but, you know.
yeah, although I was watching the night, like, it's amazing how many people, because I remember being so mad at how few people got it. Like, you remember the first night he debuted the spinner, it was at Armageddon 2004 when he debuted the U.S. title spinner. And Michael Cole's like, oh, it's like a record player on his belt there. And I'm like, and this was like when spinner culture was like over the top, where like everything was,
That sounds funny to say. I'm like, damn, I haven't thought about spinners in a long
I know,
Spinners.
right?
We ride
Spinners.
spinners. We roll
Remember-
them.
Remember,
stuff. I'm riding
Spreewell had the
spinners.
spinner chain.
Yeah, you had the spinner chain, and like everything spun in the early 2000s. If you missed out on spinner culture, people just wanted shit that spun. Like the reason the WWE Championship spun was because it was fashionable. It was
Yeah, newsflash. The reason why a lot of things that John Cena did is because black people made them cool, and they
Yeah.
never told you that.
Nope.
And that's why I've always resented Cena. Always, always.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Boom.
so he didn't
Let's
see
go, baby.
Phil ain't even talking about 5 moves of doom or nothing like that. Phil's got like some
Yeah, no,
legit.
this is deeper.
Yeah, it's deeper.
Yeah, everything he did that was cool, it came from our culture.
It did.
All of it.
Let's go,
All of
baby. Let's
Yeah.
go, Cena.
Although I do own a spinner belt, but the plate on it, the plate on it says The Rock, because he was the last person to hold it, and also
That makes
that
it even worse, man. Come on, man.
and that
I'm
and that plate
saying, wow.
that plate actually that nameplate actually came from Jamar, who makes the who made the original nameplates for John Cena back in the day. So that I had to get that one.
I gotcha.
Anyway, winter is coming. 2 weeks. I think it's going to be a dope
Bryan
match.
Danielson,
I think it's going to be a really
champion.
dope. I think it's going to be a really dope show. I think that if the card comes together the way it's seeming like it will, I think that's going to be one of the better Dynamites this year.
Is it the winner of the TBS title
No,
tournament? Is it that night too?
January 5th is when they're doing
Oh,
that.
okay.
That's the first
Oh,
TBS.
that's the
Yeah,
first
the first TBS show.
right.
Which
Right.
I will say the TBS title in hindsight was like really good promotion for that, because if you wanted to spend 2.5 months telling people you're moving to TBS, best way to do it is have something on TV where every single week you can hammer into people's heads, hey,
Right.
TBS. So when somebody turns on Dynamite, there's no excuse for you if you watch the show to turn it on Wednesday on TNT and go, oh, what happened to it?
Right.
You know what happened to it. TBS
Yeah,
has
you
been
know
hammered
exactly.
in your
They've been
head
telling you.
for the last. They have been telling you subliminally. They have been telling you TBS.
They
we
made
got
a belt. They wanted to tell you so much they made a whole belt. to
They
tell
made a whole belt. But yeah, we got a few super chats about the last conversation. We had Ryan Sullivan, Red just so confident, cowboy costume. Amash has changed the font from Wangman to Hangman, yet we still have the Hose Championship.
I mean,
We got. Well, I mean, it's TBS's logo. That's a little
Yeah.
bit harder to change. Ken says, "I respect Reg's dedication to the. If I say Hangman will lose every time, eventually
it's
I have
only
to be
been
right
2
method."
times, just twice, just 2 in a row.
Yeah,
Just two, just legit, maybe the 2 best wrestlers in the world. I mean, it's not
Shout
an
out-
easy feat. Kenny
shout
Omega
out-
and Bryan Danielson.
Shout out to Rob for the super sticker. Rob is also going to be at Terminus as well in Atlanta. Just sent me a message this morning wondering what we're doing on the Saturday. I ain't got no plans right now.
Hey.
It's going to be a lot of cool people at that term. It's Atlanta, man. There's a lot of great wrestling fans there. It's a lot of great wrestlers there. It's a great place to have an event, honestly.
Oscar said, "All hail King Reg."
Appreciate you, Oscar.
And you know what? We got one that I want to get to because it's in our number one topic, but it says, also, do you see AEW giving Lee Moriarty the Jungle Boy push? Like having him wrestle top guys consistently through 2022 and being a top guy in 2023? I will get to that in just a minute.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, we will get there. But I wanted to make sure we read that. Oscar asks, Top 3 AEW entrance themes. Andrade's is dope. I love Andrade's theme. I think it sounds so genuine. I feel like just the Santana style guitars in it. That one's really good. I am partial to a few because I helped make Sammy Guevara's theme, and so I'm really partial to that one. In that it just every time it hits, and I see people talk about, man, this is my favorite theme, and I'm like, yeah, it is. But
top three,
because they've had a really good theme year this year. Like Adam Cole's is like really good.
I'm gonna go with I think Jamie Hayter's is one.
Jamie Hayter's is good.
Jamie Hayter's is really good. I'm gonna go with the Top Flight. Shout out to my man Rated R. And just because Reg is hating, we're going Hangman. Because what?
Yeah,
Hangman theme.
Hangman's is really good. I'm gonna say Kenny, especially when he gets that full entrance. Battle Cry is really good.
Love Battle Cry.
And I think he's only had the full entrance like 6 or 7 times, but when he does, it's a great entrance. I will say, I actually, again, talking about themes that sound authentic. I really love the authenticity of Hikaru Shida's theme. I feel like I always hate when American producers try to make Japanese sounding themes. Like I feel like WWE like really never got that right. Like I used to hate the Kabuki Warriors theme because it sounded like an American producer trying to make a theme that sounded Japanese.
The Oriental Express theme slaps though.
Yeah, now
that's a classic.
Asuka's actual theme song is amazing.
Yes, that said, but again, they weren't really trying for that though. They were really just trying for just something that just fits her personality. But the fact that Hikaru Shida's brother produced her theme, I feel like it has a really good authentic sound. I like
trivia.
that.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So, because that was the theme she was using in Japan, she just brought it with her, and then like I said, Adam Cole. Those are my 3.
I'm gonna go with the Top Flight, the homie Rated R. Leo Rush, man, he made his own thing.
That's a great theme.
That's super hard.
Great theme.
And then Thunder Rosa, just because like what Will was talking about last week, how just like when it hits, like people are just
on
ready.
their feet. Yeah, they love it,
and that's dope. And it fits her. She's like, you wouldn't think it fit her, but it just fits her. It's Thunder Rosa so much.
Yeah. I'm going to throw an honorable mention to somebody, like, I guess this is my crazy take of the day. Sean Spears. His theme is dope.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
that is definitely the dopest thing
Wrestling
about
Flow.
Sean Spears.
Is
his theme.
Yep. Oh, there's one, though, that I really love, and I'm hoping that he gets a chance to go back to it, because I like the Men of the Year theme. I really do. But Scorpio Sky's solo theme was so good. And I definitely want to make sure that we hear that again when
he raises that championship over.
And also Ruckus, holler at me. I'm trying to get me a theme too, big bro. Holler at your boy Ruckus.
Yeah,
shout out to me.
The Men of the Year theme
is wild.
The Men of the Year theme, that was John Connor. So that's a good theme. It's a good theme.
That's John Connor. Yeah.
John Connor does the Men of the Year theme, and it's a good theme for them as a duo. But I really like Scorpio Sky's solo theme. So a couple more super chats. D-Lo talking about Reg with the heel turn.
I just don't get it. He's a cowboy. Oh, big
John
surprise. Cool.
Talking about, what up, guys? Love the show. Do you guys think we see any surprises or debuts at Winners coming? I do.
I would think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Especially when the theme of Winners coming the first time was Sting. That ended up being
people are saying Bray Wyatt, but I don't.
Yeah, that's what I've been.
I don't know.
That's the theory going around. I don't know. And then Maj says Battle Cry off the strength that the guy who made it also did Cinder's theme music in the Killer Instinct reboot. Yeah. God, what the hell is that guy's name? Well, I'm drawing a blank on it. Damn it. I know it, and then Little V Mills did the theme. And he does some cool metal covers if that's what you're into. Yeah. So speaking
I've said it more than once. Battle Cry is better than Devil's Cry at this point. It is.
Speaking of themes I helped with, Big Swole. So Big Swole announced her departure from AEW. It is after, so she signed a 2-year deal with them in November of 2019, and they mutually agreed to not renew her contract. And so Big Swole is out.
Yeah, I don't know all of the discussion that happened between her and Tony. I'm assuming it's health issues. I hope that's not what it is. So, I'm hoping for the best for her. She hasn't come out and said that that's what it is. I just hope that she's doing well. Man, I just don't think that there are many people in wrestling like Big Swole. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, work rate this, promo that. Forget all of that. I'm talking about,
like, she's a good promo.
She is.
Well, I mean, I just beyond all of that, I just think that the thing that makes people connect with Big Swole is just that she just always seems so genuine. She always seems so real, and
that's why her promos are good. They don't get it because it's like, oh, this is real. This is really her,
Yeah, and I just think that for sure, like watching certain matches after she announced that she was exiting, it just didn't feel the same. Going out and like hashtagging Black Wrestlers Matter. Like, it just because, that started with her match with Diamante, it just didn't feel the same.
Black Wrestling Draws, yeah.
Wrestling Draws, yeah. It just was a big hit to me. And I just because I've been following her since she was here, when she was Rise champion, it just was a big blow. Like,
it is.
Again, I don't know everything that went into it, but, it's support regardless. Whatever she does next, I'm supporting it.
I feel a little bit, I don't want to say better, but I feel a little bit more relief that it was her contract ran out and it wasn't like anything crazy. It was just like, it felt like it's mutual. I feel like for a minute she's been on another side of what they've been trying. I don't know what they've been trying to do with Big Swole, but like we've been getting behind Big Swole. Remember, like we all rallied to get the match on pay-per-view with her and Britt Baker. Like we want to see Big Swole win. We are behind her, and I don't think it ever really translated. I don't know why. I think she's a great talent. I think she's a great person. I think she has a great family. Everything about her is just great. And I just like Phil said, I hope it's not a health thing. I hope that there's some
hope we see her down the
better
road.
things on it. I hope to see her down the road. Hope there's some things on the horizon. Like every time I talk about a women wrestler that has been released from any company, women's wrestling is insane. There are so many places you can wrestle that you're going to have an amazing match. There's so many dream matches, so many opponents. It's crazy for women's wrestling right now. So it's a one door opening and one door closing, window opening, because the game is pretty deep right now. Like, who doesn't want to see Big Swole and Trish? Who doesn't want to see Big Swole and Willow? Who doesn't want to see Big Swole and Masha Slamovich? Who doesn't want to see Big Swole and Nikki Savoy? It's just like, come on.
Yeah, I will say that, like, right before the pandemic hit, I felt like she was in a good place. She got a good crowd reaction every time she came out.
She did.
And when she came back and there were no crowds, it just felt like that was a miss. Like, I feel like she was one of those wrestlers that got hurt the most by not having live crowds. So, yeah, and then, again, she had the health issues where she had to take some time off. And it just was poor timing all around, man. So, just continue to wish her the best.
Sometimes that's just how it works out, man. The wrestling business, it moves so quickly. This year it started to move really fast because last year was so slow. So, like, there's so many things happening, so many new signings, there's so many things going on, but it's never the end of the road. It's never the end of the world. It's so many places that can still be done and so many things that could still happen. So, shout out to Big Swole. Shout out to
Big
Cedric.
Swole.
Shout out the whole fam.
And Big Swole, because, her last major match on Dynamite was the title match against Sheeta at the Dynamite Anniversary show last year. And then, she took time off. She was gone for a few months. She came back. She cut that promo about how she was left out of the women's tournament, but because of her health issues. But she's coming for receipts. Like, that was a great promo, I thought.
Great promo.
And then after that, we never saw her on TV. And we're never sure what the case was with Big Swole. And the thing is, like, there's a lot of people that I think miss the point with her, because there's a lot of people who just you talked about people who are like, yeah, work rate this, and they're like, yeah, I don't like Big Swole, and it's like, but you don't get why people connected with Big Swole, and how, like, the first time Big Swole performed in an AEW arena was at All Out, and the first All Out, and all she had to do was pump her fist, and crowds were chanting Swole, 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 Swole. She got people to connect with her, and I feel like if it's not health related, she's got so much ahead of her, and then also she always had the dope Power Ranger gear. Like, she had Aisha gear, and specifically Aisha. It wasn't just referencing Yellow Ranger; it was specifically referencing the the Aisha as the Yellow Ranger. And then Karen Ashley, who plays Aisha, actually then retweeted all of it because it is dope gear.
This kind of goes back to what I was saying on Twitter about how people saying that AEW can't sign everyone, AEW can't do this. A lot of people sign 2-year contracts, and it's been 2 years. So contracts are going to be up. There's a lot of space that's going to be. They're not going to renew a lot of people that they came in with because so much has changed. So
I was going up and down the roster.
There's a lot of caps. There's a lot of things going on.
I was going up and down the roster. There's about 10 people that I could probably see not getting re-signed next year.
Right.
And shit's changed. And again, it's not the same as a release because, as somebody who has worked as a contract worker before, kind of the cool thing about being a contract worker and the shitty thing is that you know when the end is coming. You know what the end of your term is. And you know that one of two things is going to happen. It's either going to continue or I need to start looking for other work. But no matter what, I at least know when the end is coming. That is not the same as a release in which I knew when the end was coming. But surprise, you just decided to take me out beforehand.
Yeah, surprise, right before Thanksgiving you're released. It's not the same as my contract just expired.
And surprise, we're going to have Edge talk about it and dish you on TV while you're trying to enjoy a stupid TV show with your family.
So we haven't talked about that because that was some of the wackest stuff. And, like, I've seen the defense for it being like, well, you want realism in wrestling. But like Sean said on the because I did watch Reg and Sean on Listen Your Boy this week, that's not realism because that's not what happened. No. So don't tell me that that's realism. That's not what happened. So it's nonsense. I do want to talk about the next thing, though, because I am so proud to see this. But we're talking about PWI. PWI. So much so, let's just bring it up on the screen. Because, look, who had the cover story.
I did that.
Righteous Reg. Interview.
I'm going to flex on y'all. I did that from step 0 also. I pitched the whole thing. I said, yo, Kevin, let me get this interview with Big E. It's going to be dope. I'm telling you, it's going to be heat. He went through it. It happened. Went through blah, blah, blah. Yo, we got the story. You're going to do it. And it happened. And here it is. I cannot believe it. It's amazing. Black man on the cover of a pro wrestling magazine, the WWE champion. And a black man did that.
You did that.
What?
Shout out, Reg. You interviewed Big E. And,
yes, I did.
That's so cool.
Just get this magazine, man. I interviewed Big E. I asked him about the WWE Championship, the New Day, about people not wanting him to be silly anymore. I did some light shade to Booker T in there. Like, it's great, man. It's a great interview. Big E is exactly how you think he would be. The nicest, most humble guy you could ever talk to. Just like happy to be there, like in a good way though. You know, sometimes people are just like happy to be there and they're going to put up with your bullshit. Now this is like a happy to be here and he got his, man. It's like, I was just so happy to talk to him. So proud of everything he's doing. I said recently that for the culture, Big E is the greatest WWE champion there's ever been. Like just for this short amount of time and what he's done out of the ring, no one has even done anything close to that. He's taken this WWE championship to the Breakfast Club, to the barbershop, to college football games, to boxing fights. He's been everywhere that someone that we know and, and outlets that we know of, he's been there, man. Big E is doing this run amazingly. That's why I said, like, people are like, well, he's hasn't been the matches, blah, blah, blah. None of that. That does not matter to me. Everything he's done outside of the ring has made him who he is for me.
Yeah. You know, we talked about The Rock and how The Rock did the opposite of that, right? Of like, you know, I'll be WWE champion on TV, but don't ask me about this shit anywhere outside.
Right.
Like if I'm going,
I'm not bringing that belt. I'm not. Don't do nothing. Man. But Big E has the belt.
Big
He's
E
out there. He is representing as the WWE champion more than the Universal champion.
I was going to say that
outside.
That in the scope of WWE. In the scope of WWE, like, obviously Roman's the guy. Roman is the champ. But, like, outside of WWE, Big E is the face that you're seeing everywhere.
Right.
And
that's stuff that really The Miz talks about, how a WWE champion should be, and for ready for outlets, that's Big E. Big E's doing all the things not just that ready for outlet. You need to do.
Big E has just been, like, he is putting himself out there. And that is really cool. And I think there's nothing better. Big E is WWE champion, and I think it's really cool. Like, have I been happy with the reign? No, mainly because, like, I don't like seeing the champ get pinned, and I definitely don't like seeing the champ get pinned so early on.
Right.
But have I been just, like, over the moon about everything Big E has done outside the ring? Absolutely. Exactly. Seeing him on the Breakfast Club is really cool. Seeing him doing the boxing introductions, amazing.
Crazy.
And seeing him on the cover of Pro Wrestling Illustrated, interviewed by my dude, Righteous Reg.
Come on, man.
You're
talking about for the culture, too. We brought up Westside. Like, one of the things I remember about him winning the briefcase is the first thing he did after he won the briefcase is he walked out and dapped up Westside Gun. And he has a Wale theme song. He's the man. He's the man of the culture.
I talked about that, too. I talked about how Wale's the unofficial fourth member of the New Day, pretty much, man. He's been there. He's been there for all the great times. He was at that rap battle that they had against the Usos. Like, I was like, you and Wale is probably the most perfect, next to like Xavier and Mega Ran. Those are like the most perfect combination. It's funny because they're both New Day. It all makes sense, but they just know they know their market. They know exactly what they need to do. And I'm just happy that all three of the New Day members got to where they are being themselves. Just like I say about Lee Moriarty, like he's going to get to the top of where he needs to be as Lee Moriarty. Big E is Big E, you know, like that's him 100%. Xavier Woods is now like 150% Xavier Woods. Like he's like, this is me and you're going to get it. He's going to be at the Golden Girls convention. Like Xavier Woods is not playing around here. So shout out to the rest of the New Day.
Xavier Woods got the busiest life. Like when he posted that schedule, because, you know, he's a G4 host and he's like been a G4 host. Like I've been watching Attack of the Show every day it airs because I was a big fan of the Screensavers back in the day when it eventually became Attack of the Show. And so I watched Attack of the Show from the time it launched in 2005 till Kevin Pereira left. I didn't really watch after that. But and so it's been really cool to be watching it. And Xavier Woods is standing at home base with Kevin Pereira, and they are doing their thing and around the net and all of it. And it's just been really cool. But like that show films in LA, and he competed on SmackDown last night, which was in San Antonio. And just to be able to bounce around the way he's doing it. And, you know, of course, he did confirm that the New Day podcast is no more.
Unfortunate. They just gave up on their podcast division, man. They were going hard for it for a while. They were promoting every podcast that was out. But because they wanted to flood the market. Look at what happened.
You know what podcast is back, though? Swerve City, baby.
Ooh.
So, first guest, Eddie Kingston.
Big, huge guest, too, baby.
Yeah, so check that out, Swerve City Podcast.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah, but also check out Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Support your boy, Righteous Reg.
That's funny. We didn't talk about, when we were talking about Swerve, we didn't talk about how like they took his podcast to their platform and they did they did a bunch of extra things that we didn't really get into. That's very funny. And now the Swerve City Podcast is back.
Oh yeah. Little unknown thing about that some people may not know. So I of course, came from a podcast called RBR Weekly Wrestling Talk. RBR Weekly Wrestling Talk is part of a network called fanoff.com, which fanoff.com is the home of RBR. It's also the home of Generation Animation. It's the home of Erie International. And at one point, it was the home of the Swerve City Podcast. I own fanoff.com. I still own fanoff.com. That is still my LLC.
What's up? That's what it's saying.
Hey, man. Yo, so since you want to talk, like I feel like there were people at one point trying to come at your boys and say, "Oh, they're workers over there. They're not owners." My guy's an owner. Fix your face, fix your hat, bro.
And I responded with that. I literally responded with that when he said that. And I was like, I mean, I do. So
I don't like addressing that, but
so the thing is, that's part of the reason why I still say, hey, support everything that. Just because I don't host RBR anymore doesn't mean that that I don't.
Not still out here.
Yeah, I'm not still out here. Support all of that. Fanoff.com, Generation Animation especially. I love that show. Those guys have been doing that for 9 years now, and that's a really good show if you just want to get into like the nitty gritty on.
We'll Washington, man. We got a real boss here. On this show,
Hey,
he's been laying a little bit low.
I just people were talking kind of crazy.
But the thing is, Swerve City Podcast was a part of fanoff.com when WWE kind of just came around and all of that. So but there's cool things coming up with Swerve City Podcast, and I'm really glad that he's going to get to do it again.
Maybe they'll get your boys on that Swerve City Podcast one time. The Grapsody boys. Mix it up.
One time for the one time.
One time. It's so... what else? So we got...
get that PWI. Get PWI.com. Get you a subscription. It'll be at all your grocery stores, Barnes & Nobles very soon. I don't know exactly the day that it drops in stores, but it's available right now digitally on getpwi.com.
Hey, number one.
My first cover story.
Number one ranked Young Bucks. Sorry, haters.
Oh yeah, got to. Can't be on a Righteous Reg podcast without saying the number one PWI voted tag team in the world for the 25th year in a row. Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, the greatest tag team of not just this year, of all time. They had a company created off of their backs. Let's go, baby. Hot Topic didn't even care about wrestling anymore. They gave up on it. Then the Young Bucks came and they were like, you know what? Wrestling is actually kind of dope, man. Bring all of them in here. And look what happened. And now every Wednesday and every Friday we watch a TV show because two brothers from Rancho Cucamonga blew your minds every time that they were in the ring. Shout out to the greatest tag team of all time. Not the Usos, Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks.
Hey,
I like the Usos too. I just always throw that in there because people do that. But I want to say it out loud on this podcast. The Usos got to where they got because they stole the Young Bucks shtick. They got to where they are because they took everything that made the Young Bucks hot and they made it their own. You started doing a bunch of super kicks. Who did you get it from, big bro? I know your dad did the super kick, but I'm talking about the tandem super kicks. We know what's going on here. We know what happened. The Usos got hot because they took the Young Bucks deal. That's what it is. And they ain't got no wrestling company made off their back. Nope. They're waiting to get a shot from their cousin. They're waiting for their cousin to send them to the ring to even wrestle, bro. Young Bucks, number one of all time. Stop the cap, brothers.
I will say that that WWE's tag team style, they had a few years in there where they really had some great tag team stuff, but they were kind of just doing the Motor City Machine Guns Young Buck style. And because I 2016 till about 2019, those were some great tag team years when they had the Bar, the Usos, the New Day, American Alpha. When they had all those guys in there doing these crazy non-stop tag team matches, and everybody was like, yeah, tag team wrestling's back. And it's like, well, kind of. They just went and watched New Japan and were like,
why is it back? Because
let's
Nick
just
and
do
fucking
that.
Mac Jackson.
Right. Let's just do that, what they're doing. But they did a good job at it.
Hey,
but you have to recognize where the influence did come from.
While we're talking about it, because I believe the top 5 is Young Bucks, Lucha Bros, then Dangerous Takers, ALK. No, Usos are 4, then ALK is 5. I kind of feel like ALK should be 4. I feel like ALK has done more in terms of tag team wrestling, being main eventers, and Julia's hot right now. Julia's super hot. Shuri's super hot. Had one of the best women's matches of the year. I feel like ALK deserves that 4th spot. The only reason Usos are in that 4th spot is because more people know who they are because they're a WWE tag team. But in terms of the matches ALK had this year and the things they've done for that tag division, I think they should be 4.
And I want to say that I did not work on the tag team list this year. I had the Big E story and my own column, so it just kind of slipped through. So direct all your beef to those other guys.
But like the weird thing is, I don't even know how anybody could debate it. Like I know, other than I don't like the Young Bucks. Like that's really the only debate. But like other than that, when you look at like who has consistently won a tag team this year, because the Usos weren't even a tag team again until June. So like the fact that they're 4 is actually kind of might even be pushing it
pretty generous. Yeah, pretty generous.
They weren't ranked last year. So they went from unranked to 4, which is, because the Usos are fantastic. But
yeah, they're fantastic.
They're
Jimmy
great.
just wasn't here. Jimmy wasn't there all year.
They're legit one of the best, the top 5 WWE tag teams of all times. Like, no question about it.
And when people say like, oh, FTR should have been there, look at the year. No, they shouldn't. The last year, it was the Young Bucks as World Tag Team Champions. They won the belts as babyfaces, went on a run as babyfaces defending them against heel tag teams, then turned heel, then went on a run defending them against babyface tag teams. So they had 2 essentially different reigns and had some like top tier matches, like undeniably top tier matches. So
only reason you can hate is if you just don't like the Young Bucks. That's the only way.
It. And lots of people don't like the Young Bucks. So I see that, but we got some more super chats and Humper chat. Back on the topic of themes, Joseph said the Lucha Bros current theme with Alex Abrahantes doesn't get enough love. It's a great theme. As a matter of fact, I'm slightly annoyed that when they use the Death Triangle theme, that's a hybrid of the Lucha Bros old theme and Pac's kind of old theme as well, because Pac got a new theme at Full Gear, and so but then when Death Triangle comes out together, it's like, actually, we're still going to use this hybrid theme of the old themes. And PAX was like slightly modified. It's not a huge change, but it is a change.
Pac and Malachi Black is going to go insane, too, when they have this one-on-one. Oh, goodness.
John says, I feel like a lot of their original signings of AEW won't be re-signed. It sucks, but with all the new signings, this was bound to happen. And props to Bryan Danielson, because like the first thing he said when he came out is he's like, I know a lot of guys like CM Punk and Adam Cole are showing up here, Ruby Soho, but you need to give props to the original AEW guys, because he's like, because without them doing this, we wouldn't have looked over here to see that this is the place we want to go. So shout out to those guys. And I thought that was a cool thing for him to do.
That is cool.
That's another one. You Omega and Bucks haters. He came there because they were killing it over there.
But then you also kind of have to give credit to Cody, because
you do though.
Because
give it up
Brian.
to Cody died for your sins, Rose, with the flaming table, man. Y'all better give it up to Code. Code ain't playing, man. Cody might be the smartest wrestler in all of wrestling if we're keeping it a stack, dude. He just knows. I don't know how he knows, but that's why that promo, the infamous promo, how didn't he know? He knows everything. How did he not know that though? But
Cody
people have mistakes.
But you know what though, because Brian straight up said the match that made him decide that AEW was where he was signing was Cody versus Penta. He watched that and he was like, I'm headed here, because he was like, I got to see Cody do stuff that they would have never let him do at WWE, and he's like, clearly there's some freedom happening here, and I want to jump to AEW. He said that was the match.
I'm
it was
gonna
Cody.
Be the world champion at Winter's Coming when I beat Hangman Page, one of the AEW originals that I said to check out.
So, Terrence says, proud of you, brothers. You have inspired me to use my media LLC to just blog about wrestling for fun. There'll be a lot of black wrestling, by the way. Do it, Terrence. Do it.
You just got to go for it, Terrence, man. Have fun with it. Have fun. That's why I got here. I just started talking about it, blogging, creating lists, and we out here.
And yeah, the final topic.
Leland Moriarty, he's gonna kick my ass for putting this out here. That he's so mad at me. Lee, I'm sorry, bro. I love you. You're the best, man. That CM Punk match was, it was beautiful. I loved it. I was watching it with the hard eyes emoji. I was that real emoji. I was just like, oh my god, this is beautiful. CM Punk gave Lee Moriarty a lot. A lot.
Out there gave him
man.
11 minutes, and so the Jungle Boy point was made earlier in the chat, and I actually said that on Twitter. The moment the match was announced, I was like, it feels to me like Lee Moriarty's getting the Jungle Boy treatment. People forget that because I see the criticism of like, how can Lee Moriarty get over if he never wins? Here's the thing. I feel like Jungle Boy feels like a star right now. He very much feels like a star to me. Like crowds love him. People forget he had the losingest record in AEW that first year. But the cool thing was the guys he was getting to work with at the time. They put Jungle Boy in there with Chris Jericho. They put him in there with Cody. And I feel like he got
all
the
guys
face.
that if you lose to him, it doesn't matter. CM Punk, Lee Moriarty losing to CM Punk doesn't hurt him at all. If anything, it's the exact opposite. It makes him really cool, man.
And it feels like they're doing this for a number of guys now. Like I feel like now that they've seen the Jungle Boy formula kind of work, the idea is now let's do this with these guys. And the cool thing is, a lot of them are black. In that, I feel like Dante Martin got kind of that same treatment where Dante Martin, he was having some big matches, but he was losing. But he was losing to Kenny Omega. And so all of a sudden now Dante Martin's out there, and Dante Martin matters. And people love Dante Martin.
Big name, man. He's one of the biggest names in AEW now, just off of this. It's crazy.
I don't want to toot my own horn on this a little bit, but I will. I just feel like there were certain things I watched this week, and I was like, hey, me and my guys, we podcasted and we said certain things. Hey, when we talked about Lupe's now in the mix. We talked about MF Doom on Halloween episode. MF Doom mask on AEW.
He came out with an MF Doom mask on AEW television.
So
Come
fire.
on, man.
So fire.
But those are all coincidences. But what is not a coincidence is I said on a podcast before we did this podcast, and people kind of threw some heat my way because I said, hey, if Lee is the guy, get behind Lee, support my man. And if you support him, they'll listen. And I got called a liar. I got called this. I got called that. People was like, oh, I can't believe you're saying this, blah, blah, blah. My man wrestled CM Punk on Dynamite.
The bars
CM
in
Punk.
hell. Yeah.
It was a lot of stuff coming my way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lee
wrestled CM
just
Punk,
wrestled
and that shit was
CM
fire.
Punk on national TV, and he killed it.
And he killed it. And again, because like there's little tells of how you can tell that they see something in Lee Moriarty versus somebody they don't, right? Because like there's a lot of already in the ring, this person, right? That wasn't Lee Moriarty. Lee Moriarty got his full entrance. He got to show the mask to the fans. And this was like, this is a guy you want to see who he is. And you did before CM Punk came out.
Yeah, I'm just going to remake the same point that I made on that podcast. If you want to see more black wrestlers on your television, if you feel like there needs to be more, support the wrestlers. Support them online. Support them at the shows. Go buy their merch. Support the wrestlers. You can't keep begging the company to do something for you if they don't see that there's demand for a certain wrestler.
Exactly.
Support the wrestlers.
Yes.
So
keep
simple.
supporting Lee, and Lee will keep getting opportunities.
Yeah, shout out to Mixed Tag Show in the chat, by the way. And here's the thing. I loved this match. Loved the Pepsi Twist spot. That was really cool. I thought Lee Moriarty got the show out. Couple of beefs, though. Okay. MJF on commentary was the wackest shit. That was like
terrible.
Awful. Now, I said this because I did Matty Anderson's podcast last week, and I said this there, and I'm just going to repeat this point. I get it. I am, like, he's a heel, and I am annoyed by him. So, in a sense, it's effective. So, like, I can't necessarily get mad at a heel making me hate them. But that doesn't stop me from hating them because I was watching this like angrily, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm just trying to enjoy watching Lee Moriarty out here, and MJF is just over the top, and he just won't stop talking, and I just want to enjoy this, and I've never wanted JR more than right now. And like, shout out JR, and like, get well soon.
Get well soon.
Yes, get well soon. Not soon enough. Because, man, like, don't put MJF out there again. Especially
sometimes that shit can
match.
take away from a match, and this is a perfect example now. It's perfect right here.
It was driving me nuts.
There were a few lines of his where, like, he was trying to, bash Lee Moriarty, and it was on purpose, of course, to get the fans to get behind him. But I thought Excalibur came back with some great lines on commentary to get the fans to see, like, no, he's actually great. He's actually more experienced than you. He's had more matches on indies than you have. All of that stuff was good, but him doing over the top WWE heel style commentary, I wasn't a big fan of it. But I've gotten plenty of practice tuning out commentary with Jericho on Fridays, so it just didn't bother me as much.
Honestly,
I think I'm just too hyper aware. I don't know how to tune out Jericho on Fridays either. But this was just too much. I didn't want to hear MJF on commentary, and it was all like, I was enjoying the match, and I was enjoying getting to see Lee Moriarty out there, and
smoked that match.
Yeah. But it was just driving me nuts here. And
those counters, man, the when he came for the splash and he rolled through into the pin, I was like, look at my guy, man. He's killing this, man.
He's killing it. And I was so happy to see Lee Moriarty do it. And I was, and I think there's obviously more to come for him. It's, look, man, especially now that you turn Bryan Danielson heel.
It's coming, baby.
You can do it. Do it. That is going to be a technical marvel.
I'm gonna cry watching the wrestling match. Even if they they rang the bell and Bryan Danielson just squashed them, I would still cry. They would totally never do that.
And the weird thing is, I don't think they would.
It's so close to happening. Oh my god, it's like so. I know it's just they're just gonna randomly announce it. It's not gonna be anything. It's like, hey, on Wednesday, Righteous Reggie's #1 dream match of all time is happening already. Lee Moriarty versus Bryan Danielson. It's crazy, man. I can't believe it.
Now, that said, you see where Brian said he wants to start like a faction of technical wrestlers, and all of a sudden I'm like, there's some shit you can do there.
Yes, there is. I'm here for
Jonathan Gresham, he's available.
Yep. Hey, he was backstage at Dynamite this week.
Was he?
Uh-huh.
He was backstage.
He was backstage. He was there.
Really?
Yeah, he was there.
Sign that contract, Tony Khan.
Hey, he still got to get through final battle. Like, even if he signed yesterday, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't announce anything until they were through.
Oh, my God. He signed yesterday. He signed. Ooh, I'm so excited. I can't believe this. I can't believe it. It's unbelievable.
I said this before, but the image I want to see, if he wins the championship at Final Battle, and whenever they have this Owen Cup, if Gresham walks in with the ROH title around his shoulder into that tournament and wins it, sign me up.
I like what this guy Phil's saying here. He's saying some really cool stuff here. Yeah,
all
the way after this.
It seems like a lot of things aren't that a lot of people aren't necessarily holding on to anything Ring of Honor related anymore because
Ring of Honor, something's weird's going over there. Yeah,
because one of the things I love about the Dark tapings is seeing the names that pop up on them. Like throughout the day, because they usually spend all day taping them, and like all of a sudden I saw Willow Nightingale pop up last night, and I'm like, yes. Josh Woods performed yesterday at the AEW Dark tapings, and he's currently the Ring of Honor Pure Champion. So, stuff's happening. It seems like, regardless of what's happening with Ring of Honor, it feels like everybody's just kind of moving forward with their careers.
Man, I know that I had a small victory lap with this Lee thing. I just didn't like how people came at me. So I'm going to throw that in people's face every time he succeeds now. Don't let this man become champion. I'm going to be on your neck.
Just support Lee Moriarty, though. And
Leland.
Yeah.
Don't let it happen. And beyond me, of course, just joking, of course, kind of. I I think that he's just great. Like, I think people
He's
want him to
amazing.
win because he's humble. He's just a great wrestler. Like, he's just one of those guys in the same vein that I just said with Big Swole, where we just want him to succeed.
Yeah.
He's I've interviewed him, and he's exactly the same things I said about Big E is Lee Moriarty. He's like happy to be there in a good way. He's the most humble, nice guy you would ever talk to. Like, it's crazy how nice this guy is. So anytime he gets a victory, I'm just so happy. And a victory doesn't have to be a victory of 1, 2, 3 in the ring. A victory is wrestling CM Punk on fucking Dynamite, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. And hey, a couple more super chats. We've got Ronald, who says, "Hey guys, how do you feel? Don Callis who do you feel? Sorry, Don Callis is talking to on the phone during the Bucks and Adam Cole promo on Rampage last night.
Kenny Omega. What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, good questions there. I saw some dumbass post because that happened this week. There was the big thing that happened this week was the Adam Cole discussions, right? And then for whatever reason, of all places to chime in, because like I was responding to Phil.
Oh, I forgot. That's funny.
And Tony Khan responded to me. So I, until I muted it, had to feel the wrath of replies to Tony Khan because, of course, you know how Twitter works. If you replied to somebody's reply, you're replying to everybody in the chain. And so, therefore, all the people replying to Tony were flooding my mentions. And yeah, because I do think that the Adam Cole talk is like fucking insane right now.
It's dumb.
And like doesn't make any sense.
the dumbest.
I saw somebody today refer to Adam Cole as a lackey, and I thought, are you watching this show? Literally, the Bucks are his lackeys. Like,
I was about
what are
to
you
say,
talking about?
Kenny's gone, and he's essentially de facto leader of Elite right now.
He
They're
has become the
standing
leader.
behind him. The Young Bucks, the number one PWI tag team of the year, are standing behind him, making him the man.
Like, I don't know how people didn't see that, because they were like, he came in and just became like another non-guy in the Elite. Unless you weren't like paying attention, he kind of slowly, actually, it wasn't even slowly. It started in September. Kind of quickly, like, took over, and now he's in the main spot. Like, a lot of the last stuff, those last few weeks of Kenny, he wasn't involved with them, like, at all. It was all, like, SuperClick doing stuff, and they were all following Adam Cole.
Prime example, the pay-per-view match, they came in from being champions to being a part of his feud with Jungle Boy. That was his feud. And they took the pin. He didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. There you
Like,
go.
I think you guys are, like, all missing this of where this is going. And it wouldn't surprise me. It come back to me March 6th. But it wouldn't surprise me if the main event of Revolution this year is Cole versus Page.
I'm telling you, I think Cole will be champion within the next year. That's
I think
my prediction.
I don't know. I think it might be a little bit further because I think Cole's going to beat Kenny before he beats.
Well, I don't think he's going to beat him,
Adam
but I do
Page.
think that he'll try to get it back for the Elite. And I think they're going to continue to tell that part of the story.
I'm telling you.
And it's just like, do you guys know? I said it before. Do you know who Adam Cole is? Like, have you seen him on Up, Up, Down, Down? Have you seen anything he does out of the ring? This is all regular. Him putting on Ghostbuster stuff. He wants to do that. Him playing video games. He plays video games. This is like, if anything, he's more Adam Cole now than he was in the WWE. It doesn't even make any sense. Like, it's just very apparent you guys don't know who this guy is.
I don't understand people saying that he got made a goof by the Bucks. He was always a goof. Like, just because he did things that were cool, he was always a goof.
That was his thing.
I hate to break this to you guys, but a guy walking out to the ring and yelling his own name with Bebe behind it is goofy.
That's corny.
It's
That's some
goofy.
goofy
When you really
shit.
think about it, it's goofy.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry. We're into
Cole,
it because
baby, what are you talking about? Yeah.
we're into it because we're wrestling fans, but no, it's inherently goofy.
Right.
That's so good. All right,
So
I got
it is what it is.
one more super chat here. It says, I eventually want to see Lee Moriarty versus Jungle Boy to main event a pay-per-view at some point. I mean, I would just want to see the match. I don't care where it goes on the card, but I mean, it is crazy that Jungle Boy is considered one of the like top technical guys around right now. But he is. He is a great
He's great.
great
He can
technical wrestler who is a great worker. And he's a dude I'd love seeing wrestle. And that was not what I was expecting to be the case when they signed Jungle Boy a couple years ago. I was like, oh, he's the son of Luke Perry, and we're gonna see him do, and they'll probably use him for all of that, and like he's a good-looking kid, and that's probably it for him. But no, he's a fucking great wrestler.
No, I saw. He's California, so I saw him a bunch before he got to AEW, and I knew it. I was like, look at this guy, and then as soon as he wrestled, he's on his way. He's going to the moon, and he's Luke Perry's kid. Like he had all the things going for him, so
he did.
That's gonna be a slower burn, but Jungle Boy's gonna get
super young
eventually.
But the slow burn's happening, and people care, and people love him. So
right,
exactly. The day he becomes champion, and David Arquette comes out and puts him on his shoulders, and tears come streaming down all our eyes. It's gonna be the day.
It's gonna be great.
But hey, folks, this has been Grapsody. Another great Saturday. Love talking with my guys.
They go by so quickly, man.
They go by so quickly.
Time is just like.
Now, I was so ready to do this show that I'm currently missing the Nuggets. They are currently playing the Knicks, and it is currently 60-49.
That's a tough game.
Yeah, but Nuggets are up by 11 at the half. So I will take that and finish watching this game, and hopefully this isn't a dated statement where people are looking at me like, ha, 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 you were really excited about that at the end of that episode of Grapsody, and now you look like an idiot. And that happens to me on occasion. So anyway, folks, come back next week. We are here at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. We are at youtube.com/Fightful. Thank you to everybody who's sending super chats, everybody who's sending your humper chats. We appreciate that. We appreciate you just being here on a Saturday with us. Keep being here with us on Saturdays, and we'll keep doing this. This has been Grapsody. I am Will Washington for the man, Philip Lindsey. Still not used to pointing, and I'm sorry, even though I've been doing this stuff for a couple of months. And my dude, Righteous Reg. We will see you next time.
Righteous Reg, yo. Twitch.tv/ComplexSF, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. on the East Coast.
I'll be watching.
Boy. We appreciate y'all for coming through.
Everybody watch. Everybody watch. Reg perform tonight. I'll be watching. Everybody, check that out. Outside of that, folks, we'll see you next time, and have a great day. Peace.